Hello, everyone. So this is our final in-class assignment that you'll be completing, and this is for 10%. So this will be located under assignments and tests, obviously, because you're here right now. And you may work on this individually or in groups of 2 should you wish. Don't know if I said that already. Sorry, I'm a little sick. Just to give you a heads up, so this is the start of week 10. What you'll be doing is that on week 10, we are all meeting at the GDR for lunch. For those of you who can't make it, I totally understand, and I will also provide all the information that we may talk about in that visit. So what we'll be doing for that week is that we're not going to have a class after the fact. We're just going for lunch, which I think is nice for us to all get together, and we'll speak about the actual area itself. On week 11, what we'll do is that we have a short lesson. And for those of you who will be attending in class, I will be able to go through all of the back of house design components, and it'll be one of the last in-class opportunities for us to get together. And for this assignment, this will be the last in-class opportunity we have before it's due. I will also be able to go through the major project and assignment with you a little bit as well. So for this particular one, you will design a space that is 40 feet by 50 feet. And you will design a full back of house space with a detailed kitchen front line or main line or hot line, depending on what word you want to use. All this equipment must be located under a hood ventilation system. I'm not really concerned about you showing that in the design, but I need for you to understand that it must be all this equipment must be grouped together quite tightly. So what you do need to have is a double convection oven, a 36-inch gas charbroiler, 2 30 by 50 pound gas deep fryers, a fryer dump station. So this could be basically, an area for bowls or like you can take the fries and pour it into the bowl. Just a little working space. A 36-inch gas flat top and griddle, 6-inch or 6-burner commercial gas range with oven, a service window and assembly station. Service windows usually where those hot, what are they called? The hot lamps are to keep your food warm, and some hot holding areas. And then please do not put a hood ventilation system over the hood line or the hot line. Just indicate where it would be. And then on the cold side, so in a completely different area, I want you to create a cold line. So this is where, as mentioned in the lesson, most of your salads and your desserts are being done. So a 2 prep table refrigerator, each at least 48 inches wide. A pass-through service area, so a way to get this to the actual servers. Cold holding assembly stations, 1 convection oven, and no hood ventilation needed. And the remaining space will have stainless steel work tables. Okay. So, now, this is a little bit more in depth because I'm giving you lots of space to do this, but there's not going to be a whole lot of other areas that you have to do. Like you will have to show where the receiving door is, the entrance and exit to the front of house, the dish area, the storage areas, but I really want you to focus the detail on the hot and cold area. Okay? You do not need to source the equipment or lay out these spaces in detail. Just identify where they would be and the outline of the space that they occupy. Okay, so that gives you an idea that you'll have 40 feet by 50 feet, fairly large space. You'll have to kind of map out how the flow of movement of people and food is. But in the hot and cold line is where you're really working on the equipment. Use appropriate labeling for both equipment and areas. Make sure all your traffic areas are adequate and include hand wash stations where they are necessary and fire extinguishers near the cooking equipment. Okay. On top of this, what you'll have to do is that you will have to cost out in Excel all of these items to tell me how much they would cost. So I've given you a whole list of different places that you can use the Nella shopping cart. And cost out exactly in an Excel form how much they would cost if we wanted to buy these. From a marking scheme, there's 10 marks for the hotline with all of the different pieces of equipment, and a few marks for like some spacing and layout. Cold line, it's out of 5 marks for all those different pieces of equipment, and then 5 marks for your Excel document with a total price including tax. Nella shopping cart is what you're going to be using, and that's right there, so you can go take a look at that. And that's more or less the assignment. Now, I should pull up Visio and give you a couple ideas. So when you are in Visio, what you'll be doing is you'll be creating, again, a floor plan in US units. As a reminder on how you'll be doing this, you're going to be going into the design, changing the page setup into drawing scale, and what I'm going to select. Now, it's 40 by 50 is the room, so I'm just going to go 50 feet by 60 feet because this will also give you a little bit of space to work with. And then I'm going to pull in that room, properties, and then change this to 40 by 50. So there are two major things that we need to think about when we're doing this. I'm going to zoom in a bit. And just give you an idea of where you should, excuse me, of where you should start. You should start with the entrance and exit into the dining room and out of the dining room. So I really suggest that you have two doors. Now these doors can be located together or they can be located separately apart. What I'm going to do is I'm going to locate them separate apart. And you can put them on any wall, it really doesn't matter. This is the indoor, this would be the outdoor. So the first thing that I have to understand is that, so if I'm going in, as I mentioned in the lesson, you want that dishwashing area quite close. So I'm just going to go in to maps and floor plans, and what some good items for you to put in is all these appliances, all the bath and kitchen. Yeah, put furniture in. I don't really think we'll use it too much. Maybe some office equipment or furniture. I really like office. I think it's equipment that they have like work tables, which works out well. I don't think I'll need plants or plumbing. I really don't know. That's probably enough. I'll do walls, doors, all that stuff. Okay. So we have all these great things. So what I'm going to recommend that you use is Office Office furniture. Yeah, I like these work surface and rounded work surfaces because it gives you a whole lot of different items that you can use, a bunch of options. So the first thing I'm going to do is say, okay, we need a dishwashing area. So we're going to walk in and we're going to set up ourselves a dishwashing area. So I don't want them to walk too far and they can go ahead and drop off their dishes. And I also want this dishwashing area to be, I'm actually going to move this up and I want to use this table. And what I'm going to do, it's going to be one of those kind of roundabout areas. So I'm just going to do this, pull it up, boom, boom, boom. And we need a table in the back. And this will be this space might need to be widened a bit because it's really not that wide. So if you go to properties, what you do is look for depth, and the depth will tell you. So this is 24 inches. You might go 36 inches. So this makes it a little bit wider. And then under appliances, you can see that we even have all these refrigerators, range, washers, dryers, and we have a dishwasher. So this might be a perfect example of what I would use for a dishwasher. And maybe I'll say it's a double. So I'll put that in there. Now, you don't need a whole lot of detail, as I mentioned, but this right here shows, okay, this is our dishwasher, this is our dirty dishes, the dishwashing stations, and then I'm going to need a sink. So what I might do is bath and kitchen. I'm going to grab a single sink somewhere. Here's a triple sink. That's perfect. I need one of those. And a regular sink right there. And that's going to be where I'm spraying off. That will give you more than enough detail for that dishwashing area. Done. So now they walk in, they drop off their dishes there. Now they're going to need to have both a hot line and a cold line. So what I'd recommend, and in this layout, you'd probably want to put the hot line up in this area. So what I'm going to use is office furniture. You might need to maneuver this around a little bit and change it up as you kind of go through. But let's say I'm going to do my hotline here and a cold line here. And what I want, I'm going to move this door so I want them to be able to go in, drop their dishes off. This is going to be their serving areas where they're grabbing all of their different dishes. So it could be hot and cold. And then behind them will be their hotline with all of their equipment. So it's usually about the same size. I don't know if that's enough size. I might need to stretch this out and make it a little bit bigger, which I do have the room to do. And then what I'll start doing is looking at that appliances and start putting in my ranges, start putting in, what else do we have here? As I mentioned before, you can put in deep fryers just simply by putting in rectangles and labeling them as a deep fryer. And then you can start really kind of putting together all of your different area. I can put in fridges and just say that they're the fridges right there and send them to the back. And I know that we know how to do that. So I might want to copy and say this is going to be all fridges underneath. And this thing I'll bring to the front. Again, I don't want to get into too much detail. Typically, because of the way that it's all done, is that there's always going to be a wall. Apologies, I keep getting cut off in my video, but basically what I was trying to say right at the end, just to wrap this up, is that what I would like for you to do is once you have your dishwashing area, your line, this is the start of your hot line, this is the start of your cold line. From here, what you would be doing is then going through and looking at the rest of the spaces. So you'll start with your receiving area, so that's where you're coming in from the back. Maybe a table in that area. From the receiving area, then you'll have your fridge, your freezer, your dry storage, wherever they might be. You'll have an office. You'll have maybe a staff area and some prep space, or the pre-preparation space. So there's more than enough room to include all of that. What I'm looking for is that you have the spaces that they're kind of related to each other. So you know that from receiving, you go to storage. From storage, you go to the pre-prep. And from final prep, you go into your hotline. And then it goes out the door. So that'll give you an idea of how to lay this all out. And as I mentioned before, on week 11, I will be in class, so we can go through this. I can give you some more tips and tricks on how to design this a little bit more seamlessly. Okay, thank you so much. Good luck on the assignment. As a reminder, this is not due until, so I'm handing it out tomorrow, Sunday. It will be not due until April 2nd. Okay, so we do have some time. Cheers.